Imagine this. You're lying in bed, ready to go to sleep. You pull out your phone, tap a button, and your house goes to work. The front door deadbolt slides shut. The thermostat drops to 68 degrees. The lights downstairs click off, and the security cameras arm themselves. It feels like living in the future. You paid thousands of dollars for this hardware. You installed it. It's yours. Except it's not. You don't actually own your smart home. You are just renting the software that keeps it alive. Behind that seamless illusion of control is a fragile, invisible tether connecting your living room to a corporate server hundreds of miles away. And if that company goes bankrupt, gets bought out, or simply decides it no longer wants to pay for server upkeep, that expensive hardware can instantly become dead, useless plastic. And it is happening right now to millions of people, often without warning. Today, we are looking at the terrifying reality of the modern smart home, a system where everything is perfectly fine until the company pulls the plug. But how bad can it actually get? What happens when an entire company vanishes overnight and takes your house with it? Let's rewind to April 2022. Across the globe, thousands of people woke up to discover that their houses were broken. And not just a little broken, their smart light switches wouldn't turn on. Their automated blinds were frozen. The apps on their phones just sat there, spinning and loading while connecting to absolutely nothing. These people were customers of a company called Insteon, a pioneer in the smart home industry that had been selling premium automation equipment since 2005. Many users had spent thousands of dollars wiring their entire homes with Insteon switches, sensors, and hubs. Users frantically checked the company's website. The server status page claimed everything was online, but when customers went to the support forums to ask for help, they discovered that the forums had been completely deleted. When technology journalists started digging, they found something incredibly unsettling. The top executives at Insteon had not simply left the company, they had scrubbed their LinkedIn profiles, deleting any mention that they had ever worked there. Without a single email, warning, or apology, Insteon had quietly shut down its cloud servers, packed up, and ghosted its entire customer base. Because the hardware required a connection to those specific servers to process commands, many of those expensive devices were instantly bricked. The users were left stranded in the dark, literally. Now, you might be thinking, that's why I don't buy from obscure technology companies. I only buy from the big, reliable names. I'm safe. But what happens when a massive, multi-billion-dollar global corporation decides to remotely assassinate a piece of hardware you paid for simply because it no longer wants to support it? Enter Spotify. In 2021, the music streaming giant released a piece of hardware called the Car Thing. It was a sleek $90 dashboard screen designed for older cars that did not have built-in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. People loved it. It connected to your phone through Bluetooth and gave you a physical dial and screen for controlling your music safely while driving. But in May 2024, Spotify sent out an email that sent the technology world into a rage. The company announced that it was discontinuing the Car Thing. But Spotify wasn't merely ending future updates. The company announced that on December 9th, 2024, it would actively brick the device. A software update would permanently disable it, rendering it completely inoperable. When users asked what they were supposed to do with their $90 devices, Spotify's official response was effectively factory reset it and throw it in the trash. No refunds, no trade-ins, nothing. And here is the craziest part. The Car Thing connects to your phone using local Bluetooth. It doesn't strictly need a constant connection to a special Spotify server to function as a remote control. Spotify was going out of its way to actively kill a device that people had purchased with their hard-earned money, simply because the company no longer wanted to support it. Throwing a $90 music player into the garbage is infuriating. It feels like a scam. But a music player is a luxury. What happens when a company turns off the server connected to the device that is supposed to keep intruders out of your house? The scariest part of the cloud is that it now controls our physical security. Smart locks, garage door openers, and security cameras are some of the most popular technology products on the market. But when a camera company goes bankrupt, your security system can vanish with it. Take the Revolv Smart Hub, for example. Revolv was a $300 premium device that acted as the brain of a smart home, connecting locks, lights, alarms, and other devices. In 2014, Google's smart home division, Nest, bought the company. People thought this was great news. Google was a massive company, so surely their investment was safe. Instead, in 2016, Google abruptly announced that it was shutting down the Revolv servers. The company did not offer an offline mode. It did not unlock the software. It simply flicked a switch, and every $300 Revolv hub became a useless plastic hockey puck. Imagine installing a $200 deadbolt on your front door, only for a billionaire in Silicon Valley to push an update 2 years later that permanently jams the lock. That is the reality of the cloud. You are giving a third party the master key to your home and trusting that it will never go out of business. Abandon the product, change its business model, or decide that supporting your device is no longer profitable. Quick pause. If you're finding these hidden traps as fascinating and terrifying as I do, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It tells the YouTube algorithm to spread the word before more people buy into these fragile systems. Now, back to the trap. Sometimes these companies do not want to kill your device. Sometimes they realize that turning it off would be a waste of a perfectly good hostage, because if they have the power to turn your house off, they also have the power to charge you a ransom to keep it running. Hardware used to be a one-time purchase. You buy a toaster and you own the toaster. But in the technology industry, physical hardware is not always the most profitable part of the business. What is profitable is recurring revenue through subscriptions. The problem is that it costs companies money every month to keep the cloud servers running so that your smart lights can turn on. So what happens when they run out of money? They hold your house hostage. This happened with the smart home platform Wink. For years, Wink sold hubs with the promise of no monthly fees. People bought the hardware under that exact premise. Then, in 2020, Wink sent its users an ultimatum. Pay a $5 monthly subscription, starting the following week, or the company would disable their smart homes. If users did not pay, they lost access to their devices, automated routines, and security systems. It was a bait and switch that is becoming increasingly common across the technology industry. Companies sell you the hardware, encourage you to wire your entire house around their ecosystem, and then trap you inside a monthly subscription because they know replacing everything would be expensive, disruptive, and painful. We are losing the concept of ownership. But this is not merely a financial problem. This business model is quietly generating a physical, toxic mountain of waste, and it is piling up faster than we can bury it. Every time a company shuts down a server, it is not just breaking a piece of software. It may also be generating millions of pounds of electronic waste. Think about all those bricked Spotify car things. Think about the Insteon hubs, the Revolv systems, and the millions of smart cameras and connected devices that are eventually phased out. Many of them end up in landfills. These devices are packed with lithium-ion batteries, rare earth metals, electronic components, and plastics that can be difficult or impossible to recycle properly. We are strip mining the earth to build smart devices only for corporations to intentionally murder those devices a few years later with a line of code. The right to repair movement has been fighting to give consumers the ability to fix their own broken screens, batteries, and other components. But how do you repair a device that is not physically broken? How do you fix a piece of hardware that is still in perfect condition but has been digitally locked by a dead server? You can't. So, are we doomed? Is the future just an endless cycle of buying things we do not truly own and waiting for them to be bricked? Not necessarily, because there is a quiet rebellion building inside people's homes. Technology-savvy homeowners are beginning to fight back by abandoning cloud-dependent gadgets entirely. Instead, they're using local control platforms such as Home Assistant. They are buying devices that use protocols such as Zigbee and Z-Wave, which allow smart locks, lights, sensors, and other devices to communicate directly with a hub inside the house. The basic functions of the home no longer need to travel across the internet to a corporate server and then return before anything happens. If the internet goes down, the house still works. If a company goes bankrupt, the house still works. If a corporation discontinues a product line, the house still works. These homeowners are taking the smart out of the cloud and putting it back where it belongs, inside the home. The next time you buy a smart device, look carefully at the box. If it says that an internet connection is required to perform basic tasks that should work locally, put it back on the shelf, because you may not be buying a product. You may just be renting a fragile piece of plastic while waiting for the day its server goes dark. If you made it this far, you now know what is really going on beneath the surface of your smart home. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because next time we are looking at an entirely different system you rely on every single day. A system that may be only one mistake away from collapsing. Stay curious, stay cautious. I'll see you in the next one.